It's unreal. Spend a minute.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Villa Park Village Board to order. Today is September 24th, 2018 at 7 p.m. Clerk Konecki, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Trustee Aiello.
Here.
Trustee Sillella.
Here.
Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Tucker. Here. Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Bolfus.
Here. Let's all rise for the pledge, and after the pledge, please remain standing for a short prayer. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Wagner, if you have prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is public comments on agenda items. If anyone has any comments on any item on the agenda, that would be number 7 through 18. If you do, do we have anybody sign up?
Yes,
Clerk?
we do.
Okay.
I have Deborah Canali on
Please.
item number 11.
Yeah. Deb, please state your name again for the public on the mic there. So.
Sure. My name is Deborah Canali. I am at 39 West Monroe in Villa Park here. I'm here representing the Save Lufkin Pool Group today. We'd like to encourage you to vote to approve the feasibility study with Pros Consulting that's on the agenda tonight. Feasibility study was recommended on page 22 of the business plan that Save Lufkin presented to the board in February of 2018. And we still believe a feasibility study is a necessary first step in determining what is necessary, wanted, and feasible for recreational and aquatic facilities in Villa Park. We are pleased the Parks and Recreation staff and the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission members researched, interviewed, and selected a firm based on objective criteria, and that the board is now considering approving this study. Please vote yes to approve the feasibility study.
Thank you.
you.
Anyone else, Hosanna?
Yes, Jen Burns, also on item 11.
Jen Burns, 311 South Illinois in Villa Park. I just wanted to remind the board, we did ask for a master plan years ago, and that is different from the feasibility study that's on agenda item 11. The master plan that we had asked for as a commission, that was to just start finally putting together what we currently had, and then just kind of getting it written down somewhere, so that way as we realized that there were parks that maybe could have an opportunity for improvement, we had some place right away to go to. One of the things we realized years ago is that we did not have shovel-ready projects. That meant that when a grant at that time opened up, we had to start from scratch, where other communities, they already had assessed what they currently had, and they kind of knew, oh, we put this park in 1988, it's due for an upgrade, there's this grant, we're ready to go. So that was what the master plan helped us do. The feasibility study is this opportunity for us to see current economic conditions. What kinds of things can we hope, improve our community with? We started with the master plan years ago because we knew someday Lufkin and Jefferson, they weren't going to survive forever. We are now at that point where one of them hasn't survived, and the other one is, barely hanging on as well. So I'm hoping that you folks will approve item number 11, so that way we can go ahead and get the public input again. We can actually take a look at what our current assets are, and also what could our community sustain without having it be something that could be a cost negative for us. Where the commission especially is looking for things that are cost, in the black, plus, not something that's going to be a detriment on our assets. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
That's the only ones I have.
Okay. Well, this is a last chance. If anybody else has a comment on an agenda item, now's your time. Seeing none, we'll move on now to item number 5. It's proclamation for Illinois Rail Safety Week. Whereas 86 crashes occur at public highway grade crossings, resulting in 24 personal injuries and 21 fatalities in the state of Illinois during 2017. And whereas more than 84% of the crashes at public grade crossings in Illinois occur where active warning devices exist. And whereas the state of Illinois ranks second in the nation in grade crossing fatalities and 8th in trespass fatalities in 2017. Whereas the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police continue to develop partnerships designed to create a strong, supportive traffic safety culture throughout Illinois to reduce the number of railroad incidents. Whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway grade crossings and highway rail and grade crossing, ensuring pedestrian and motorists are looking and listening while nearing railways, obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of injuries and fatalities to residents. Now, therefore, I, Albert Bultus, Village President of the Village of Villa Park, do hereby proclaim September 23rd through 29th, 2018 as Illinois Rail Safety Week and encourage all citizens to recognize the importance of rail safety education. Today, on this day, September 24th, 2018. Thank you. Very important topic. We've had our share of incidents in Villa Park, and it's just always good to remind everybody to be careful at crossings. Okay, next thing we have the Community Pride Commission Landscape Awards. And do we have, who's going to present the awards? Okay.
Good evening, everybody. We're here to present the 2018 Landscaping Awards, and our first on the agenda is Rob and Andrea Unati at 249 Terry Lane, and they did a terrific makeover on the property. And I know Rob, and I know this is truthful that he says you did most of the work on this, right? Yeah. So congratulations.
All right. Thank you. Excuse me, could you, for the people at home, could you
Sure.
state your names, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Todd Johnson from the Pride Commission.
And Leslie Allison CI from
Okay.
the commission as well.
Good. Everybody at home wants to know who you are.
Okay.
So, okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
All right, next we have Richard and Frances Soder from 238 East Kenilworth. And their backyard can be seen from the Great Western Trail. They did a terrific job in the back and the front yard. It looks terrific on both sides. You're very welcome. Next we have BJ Gregory and Donald McDonald. They're from 306 East Central. And they've got buildings that can be seen from the Prairie Path and has flower pots on each apartment, and they did a terrific job balancing everything out. It was really, really great. Okay, next we have Annie Jansen from 532 South Princeton Avenue. And Gary. Oh, Gary, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were here. So I happen to help with my neighbor, so I was not there for the voting, so. I really appreciate their house more than you can believe, so great job. Thank you. And I personally can tell you how much work they put in. They're out there all the time doing it, so. Last but not least, Matt and Jenny Reesma from 311 South Summit Avenue. So they have a beautiful, colorful yard, and they've also got a beautiful koi pond in the back, which I know how much work that takes, so congratulations on that, because that's a tough job. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Well, I thank you, all the people, for all your work and for making Villa Park a nicer place. Even though it is already nice, but it's always enjoyable to see the well-maintained yards and gardens. So as a representative of the village, I just want to say thank you very much. And if you all want to hang around, I'm sure there'll be some pictures, probably in the back room over there. So we'll get your picture in the paper. And so recognition for the rest of the village too. So that's true. Thank you very much. Do you feel like Bill? Blink. Wait. Okay, we'll move on to the next item. That's the consent agenda. And item A is the minutes from the village board meeting for September 10th, 2018. And B is the bill listing for the weeks of September 10th and September 17th of 2018 for a total of $622,145.20. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kazone?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Trustee Case?
Second.
Any questions? Trustee Tucker?
Will the spelling be corrected on it? There's a few spelling errors in it.
The
It
clerk
will
take
be
care of it.
corrected, okay.
Yes, absolutely. I understand what you're saying.
Anything else? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Silella,
Yes.
trustee Aiello,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Case.
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Yes. Item number 8 is the second reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Villa Park Municipal Code by amending the regulations for a Class D1 convenience store liquor license. Manager Keenan, you want to read that, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The owners of the Pride BP Amico station located at 151 West North Avenue in Villa Park are seeking the board's approval of a modification to village code that would allow the sale of alcoholic liquors not for consumption on the premises at a convenience store without restriction to the business's square footage. The ordinance for consideration amends the village code in accordance with this request. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for the second reading? Trustee L.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Trustee
Second.
Case?
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Wagner.
Yeah, I just want to voice my concern about, and I mentioned this before, the kind of proliferation of more places where we sell alcohol. You know, I appreciated the staff memo. There are, of course, communities that allow it with their certain restrictions, but then there are also communities that don't allow it at all. So that's just a concern that I have. You know, I understand that the need to be competitive, especially with a larger gas station convenience store coming in on North Avenue, but I just have misgivings about allowing more liquor sales. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, I'll put it in my 2 cents. I have a little problem with this too, without any restrictions on it. But once you open the door, you know, how can you say somebody can and somebody else can't? So we've already opened the door by putting the 7,000 square foot on. And, you know, you really have to make the businesses, convenience stores, gas stations, got to give a little bit of a level playing field. But I think personally, maybe we made a mistake right at the beginning with the 7,000 square foot. But that's just my opinion. We'll see what the board decides. So, anybody else have any comments? Then we'll go with a roll call vote.
Okay. Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
No.
trustee Wagner,
I vote no.
trustee Aiello,
Yes.
trustee Silella,
Yes.
President Bolfus.
Do we get trustee Case?
Oh, I'm sorry, trustee Case.
Yes.
And then I'll vote no.
Okay.
But with that, it passes. So that's
Case was a yes.
we'll change the ordinance. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 9. Ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the annual budget for the Village of Villa Park for the fiscal year commencing on May 1st, 2017, and ending on April 30th, 2018. This is amendment number 1. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. As part of the annual year-end closeout and auditing procedures, the village routinely reviews the revenues and expenditures of all village funds. On an operating basis, the village ended the year in surplus. The expenses of some individual funds were higher than the budget, much of which was either beyond our control, previously known, and/or was covered by additional revenue, so we need to amend the budget as a part of our regular fiscal year closeout activities with budget amendment ordinance number 1. It is recommended that an ordinance be adopted amending the fiscal year 18 annual operations budget that was approved by the village board on April 24, 2017 with ordinance number 3971. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
do we have a second? Trustee Tucker?
I'll second that.
All right. With that, any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Ayala?
When we say in here that the expenses, that the village ended the year in surplus, I follow the ordinance that we're just gonna adjust things and move them around in order to offset higher and lower. Some funds were negative, some funds were positive. We're gonna try and get net negative, or net even. How can we say we ended the year in surplus? Is that only because of the 130-day surplus that we have? Or what does that mean? We ended the year in surplus.
Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, we ended the year with a corporate fund surplus overall. So it's more revenues than expenditures.
Okay, then the next question is, when we started the year, we had number of days in surplus that we generally use as our barometer of how well we're doing as far as what our surplus is. Is there a surplus number of days now that's higher than when we started this year?
You're referring to what the surplus is as of today, not as of the end of April 30th.
Relative to this period that we're using, well, like, I guess, where are we adjusting from? From what period to what period?
May
We're
1st
adjusting from the prior.
May 1st to April 30th.
Okay, so as of April 30th, what was our surplus, number of days? And what's our surplus now, number of days?
I don't have that. Do you have that?
Not a comparison, Your Honor, because we're on a stub year. It's not a,
Yeah.
it's
Right,
not
we're on a
apples to
sub year, right?
apples.
This is our half year deal.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll just want to make one last comment going forward, just so you can account for me in the future. I would like to know that number, and with an eye towards moving those number of days in excess of 125, let's say, into those pension funds that we're short on. So at least and I realize we did something this year that was unusual, where we actually contributed $100,000 more than our obligation in order to help offset our shortfall, or not our shortfall, but relative to our liability, our shortfall, even though other towns seem to be worse than we are. So going forward, I'd like to know that number, because I'd like to argue that should be shoved over. But I'm okay with this request today.
I sort of agree with you on making up the deficits that we have in the pension funds, because that's just going to keep haunting us. And, luckily we're already addressing 100,000 in this budget that we're working on now. So, yeah, but we have to address those pensions, so. Anyone else? Roll call vote.
Trustee Silella?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item number 10 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, accepting a memorandum of understanding with the Emergency Telephone System Board, conforming to the village's intent to participate in the Fire Station Alert System Project. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Emergency Telephone System Board has identified a need to create one standardized fire station alerting system for the 3 remaining public safety answering points within its 911 system. The identification of this new system will ensure uninterrupted service in the unlikely event that DUCOM should become unavailable in the case of an outage. To support this initiative, the Emergency Telephone System Board will provide equipment to be installed at fire stations 81 and 82 at no cost to the village. The resolution for consideration approves the village's participation in the Emergency Telephone Systems Board of DuPage County Fire Station Alerting System Project. Thank you, Ron.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kazone,
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
do we have a second?
Let me make second.
Trustee Wagner. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker.
I have a question. Will there be any optional equipment that we're going to need with this?
Any other equipment that we need, they're going to supply it. It's in your packet, except for the standby generator, which we already have there.
Okay, so there won't be any optional equipment
There's
added
no
on to
additional expense to the
expense
village.
to putting the core in for the,
Yeah, they
'cause
supply the equipment, we just have to supply the place to put it.
And the electricity.
And the standby generator.
okay. That was my, because I know they're supplying the core equipment, installment and maintenance of it, but the note also said any optional equipment over and above the core equipment we would fund, but we don't need any optional equipment to it to make it function. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Salella,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes,
Trustee Ayello,
Yes.
Trustee Case,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Volkes.
Yes. Item 11 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an agreement with PROS Pros Consulting, Inc., in the amount of $29,000. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission has recommended the completion of a Parks and Recreation feasibility study to help build community support and develop plans to build future recreation facilities. The commission interviewed 3 consulting firms and determined that Pros Consulting, Inc. would provide the most comprehensive services at a total cost of $29,000. Funding for the contract will be taken from the Kenilworth TIF account number 27-50201-299. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner, do
I'd like to make that motion.
you have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Cielo, okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Case.
Is this going to be another so-called master plan again?
No.
No.
So, sort of, yes. Maybe we can have Director Gola explain what all this is going to cover and what the need is. I think
Thank you,
he
President
was
Volkes.
prepared, so we got to give an opportunity.
Thank you. No, the master plan kind of identified some needs of the Parks and Rec Department, what needs to be taken care of. This is kind of, it's more focused on the facilities, and the feasibility study will focus on community input, which is very important, the pro formas, operational guidelines, that type of thing. So it's more detailed than a master plan.
Has a master plan ever come through?
Yeah.
Have they?
As far as,
I mean, it seems like there's a lot of master plans, but none of them ever.
well, it's a guide for us to use. Currently, we're renovating North Terrace Park. That was part of the master plan. So each year, we're trying to focus on a specific park or project, and that was identified in the master plan.
Trustee Yellow.
All right, don't leave me, Greg. All right, here's my thought. We've got a TIF district over here at Ovaltine TIF and the Snuggle TIF that, whether it gets extended or not, is currently being negotiated. When I spend this money on a project like what we're asking to be spent on this $29,000, it seems like whether that money's available is going to have a huge impact on this study. So it seems premature to me to spend money on a study now, even though it'll be the same issues primarily, because we're trying to specifically identify recreational facilities, whether it's gymnasiums, pools, park amenities, whatever it might be. In
whether we do this today or whether we wait to see whether those TIFs are going to extend or not. But it seems like the people generating the information and performing the study would have a lot better information and a lot better capability of coming up with funding options, additional funding options, if the TIFs are extended. So I'd like to see this tabled, but not necessarily eliminated. I follow we need to have this done, and I totally agree we should do this, just not right now, because I want to know what whether that TIF's getting extended, or those 2 TIFs are getting extended, before I start spending money on a consultant to tell me what I should be doing with my money.
I understand that. If we do the study now, we will be all set and ready to go. You know, I don't want to put Lufkin on the spot, but years ago, you know, we should have had that plan in place for when Lufkin closed, and here's the plan, let's go for it. This is kind of taking that step. Jefferson is 60-something years old. It's the same thing. You know, if you know, in several years it has to close, you know, we're going to be behind the 8 ball if we don't do this. I think we're getting all our ducks in a row, so we have the plan ready. I understand what you're saying as far as the TIF extension. You know, if it takes a year or 6, I don't even know the timeline, but let's say it's 6 months or a year, whatever the manager can smile on that. We're ready to go.
All right, maybe, what's the TIF going to, what's this study going to tell me? It's going to tell me what my facilities are now for recreational facilities, as far as gymnasiums, pools, etc. And it's going to tell me what the community proposes on a survey basis of what the community would like to do and where possibly. And it's going to tell me what the cost is and how to fund that. I'm assuming those are the ideas that are going to come through this study. Would that be fair?
That's correct. They'll put the pro forma together. They'll have an operational plan for a facility, recreation type programs. Well, of course, the draft report, they'll include all the operational standards. They'll take a look at our staff management practices, our limitations, future expectations. It's not just, you know, you'll set up for what's going to happen in 6 months. They'll project things outward. So we're prepared, and they'll give us all the needed information. The community input, they're not only going to do just the survey, they're also going to do the stakeholder meetings and bring people in and get their ideas and opinions and what's feasible for us. People, you know, they might want water slides, they want the whole 9 yards. It depends on what we can afford.
All right, so it seems, if I plan my house, and I want to plan a new house, I'm going to put this really cool house in Villa Park, and I've identified a site, but I need to know how much money I have and where that funding's coming from. A multi-million-dollar TIF is going to have a huge impact in my world if I can fund my house with this multi-million-dollar TIF. And my plan is going to be a lot different. And the input from the community, to me, is going to be a lot different if they know that this TIF is extended versus if they know this TIF is not extended. So I propose that we table this until we know where this TIF is going. Because I think there's a huge impact on it and on this study.
Some of the information gathered, if we don't have millions and millions, we pare down what
Right.
we can afford. And so we have that in place. There's OSLAG grants are smaller projects. There was a park grant. I don't know if that's been reestablished. That's for bigger projects where they award 6 figures and more. So we'll have that plan in place as well.
I get that. I think I've said enough on this part of my suggestion, and whatever everyone decides is fine. That's my opinion.
Trustee
I
Wagner.
appreciate everybody has a different opinion possible.
Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Poole. Just some other things that are in the scope of work that I see here. Demographic analysis, which is going to be really important to know the relative age of the community, what percentage of children. That's going to have a large bearing on how our planning is going to go. A competitive market analysis, comparison with national and regional and local trends is important. My one concern about this feasibility study is I looked through the scope of work and the contract, and I didn't see any dates that say by this date you have to have this part of it done, or the report has to be done in 1 year. I didn't see that anywhere in the scope of work. And I think that's really important. If we don't have that timelines in there, it's going to be difficult to
Right, I think
there were
this
timelines.
just- I would imagine that because it's a proposal, they weren't specific on dates, because how are they gonna know what dates to give you
Well,
when they don't have contract?
I understand what you're saying, but they could say it's going to take us 6 months to do this and 8 months to do this, and a report would be done in a year.
I believe, Tom Milan, when he did the presentation of it, Tom, you remember, it was a 6-month process, I think. or
Tom,
something.
do you want to address that?
I think it was a 6-month process.
I think so, too.
So it was 6 months, 6 to 7 months, he said.
Process.
The review of existing facilities will take an extra month or so, but they did commit to a 6 or 7 month process.
So the process, after 6 months, well, once the ball gets rolling, then we do specific dates and time.
Yeah. I would just like to see it in the contract. That's just
It'll
like.
probably be in the contract.
Okay.
Yeah, because this isn't,
This is a proposal.
this is a proposal, not the contract yet, so.
Right, okay. And then just to speak to what trustee Aiello said, I mean, if we wait to know if the TIF is going to be extended, I mean, I understand that's an important component, but I don't think we should delay the feasibility study for that reason. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the feasibility study, looking at the current financial picture is really a very small part of the scope. The feasibility study will be geared towards doing a competitive market analysis, looking at what the village currently has, and also looking at the demographics. So finding out what assets are available in the village and what the market demands. So not necessarily looking at the existing funds that the village has. So that's more of a smaller component.
And just so you all know, Mr. King is a member of the Parks and Rec Commission, so, for the people at home, so. Trustee Cielo?
I'm just wondering if we've had other feasibility studies done of this nature, and if so, what type of outcome do we benefit in conclusion to the study?
We've never had one done in the recreation department. I can't say for the other departments.
So this would be a first.
For us, yeah, for the record.
Anyone else? Trustee Kazal?
Just a couple things. They were talking about an electronic survey. Are they going to do any kind of mailings at all as part of that, or is it strictly going to be
We did talk
electronic?
about doing some mailings and including on
And
the
it-
water bills and that.
That would be included in there,
And
okay.
We would have something in, the recreation department as well, hard copies for people.
Okay. And then one of the things that in their fees, when they're talking about stakeholder input, it says does not include statistically valid survey. Is that separate from the survey that's going to be done, the electronic survey? And why would, I mean, if not, why would they put that in there?
I'll have to check on that, I'm not sure.
Okay. And then, is there talk at all about an indoor and an outdoor pool in this survey, or is it strictly going to be an outdoor pool?
No, this would be, it should be full pool facilities.
And that would be part of the survey, would be, okay. Okay, all right, that's all the questions I had.
My comment is on this, we really need this information no matter if we're going to, the TIF is going to be extended or not extended. So we know what we have to do and which way to go. So if the TIF is not extended, then the whole plans would change. But this report will tell us which areas we should concentrate on and what we can do with the amount of money we have, and with any bond issues if we have to do any bonding. So we really, I think we really need to have this information ahead of time.
I'm following that. In the back of my head, I'm getting a different answer to some of these survey questions. If I know that TIF's funded,
That would make a difference, but.
and I'm getting different answers to that survey if that TIF's not there. And I'm afraid that might skew that information in a way that would be different had the TIF been there, or had the TIF not been there, depending on which side of the equation you would like to see this result come in at.
I'm looking at all the other information gathered that we're going to be using regardless of how much money is available.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Like programs you have, the kind of space you need for that.
Right.
What the facilities you have now, what will it be able to support and what they can't support, so.
All right, two follow-ups.
Okay.
One, when would we be doing this, a contract?
If we're approved tonight, we'd be moving forward.
Okay.
Right.
And then the second thing is, when will we have some better clarification on whether the Ovaltine and Sluggo TIF are preserved, extended?
That's a good question. I wish I could have an answer for you, but there's negotiations going on, and
Approval by the state.
well, yeah, we have to have approval by the state too. That's why we're going to try to tie up the negotiations now, because the state has to approve it probably in November is what we're shooting for. So we haven't tied all that down yet.
Does Jim know, Jim, is it November this year or is it November next year? That's our deadline.
You want to do it before the TIF expires. I'm not exactly sure of the termination date of this TIF, but the other important issue is to have this as the 29,000 as a TIF expense. You need to approve this before the TIF would expire.
Yeah, that's true.
That's another problem.
The TIF doesn't extend this year, but we're pushing for November so we know far enough ahead where we can go.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, TIF has another 2 years on it,
Yeah, that expires December 2019.
2019, so it's the end of next year. So, Trustee
One other question.
Case.
Correct me if I heard this wrong. Are now, this company, are they able to look at our books? Not that we're doing nothing wrong, but you made it sound like they're going to look at our funds, or are we going to tell them what our funds are? Or?
No, for the pro forma, are you talking?
Yeah.
Let me read exactly what it says. Based on the program operations and conceptual plans for the recreation center and pool facilities, the consulting team would develop detailed financial plans illustrating pricing strategies for each of the programs and services. The detailed financial plans will include space utilization, summary based on detailed line item projections, detailed participation by program areas. So they're not looking into what we have. They're
Not that we're doing anything wrong, just
right.
like
No,
a bunch
they're
of auditors or whatever.
No. They're going to base like financial plans, what's sustainable, what we can use in, let's say, the rec center, how big the rec center is, how we can program it better and get full maximum utilization on each program space. And that includes, going outside, working with other entities, the hospital, maybe they do some therapy, maybe we can include some of their programs, and they can buy in or
Something to
generate some
qualify
revenue
doing a
from
lot of.
Elmhurst Hospital. That
Again, I think this is information we just need if the TIF is extended or if the TIF is not extended, so. Anybody else? Trustee Tucker?
Yes, just a pointer, and the advisory committee was doing this to basically ask for a feasibility study in case we don't have the TIF. So they would have more options. They were trying to arrange what we have funds and what we already have here to work with, just in case not having to put the TIF into the picture. They wanted to know, would we be able to do it as, if we have enough process to do this, if the TIF doesn't come across, or what we have available to us right now without referendums or bonds or anything, what route we would need to go. So that was basically instead, so that's the reason we did not want to wait for, they did not want to wait for the answer for the TIF, because they wanted to find out now and move forward whether we would have the resources to do it without the TIF.
So would it,
So if the TIF comes about, that's a bonus. If it doesn't, they'll be able to, with this feasibility study, give us an idea where we're at to move forward for a rec center and an outdoor pool, or, you know, as we've in the past had surveys on Lufkin and Jefferson, where we need to go to fund these. So
I follow you there. I appreciate that.
That's the importance of the feasibility study. Can we support it without the TIF, or is there another route we need to go as a village?
Which, if you're gonna do a survey and you're gonna ask the residents, I think exactly for that reason, there's gonna be some different answers if that TIF's funded, or extended, versus if it's not.
That is
For just that
correct.
reason.
That is correct. But if you wait until to find out if the TIF comes in effect, that in that meantime, a lot of things could happen in the process without having a feasibility study, that possibly if we have the feasibility study, we could, as Greg said, get grants and funding, other ways to start moving forward without the TIF.
Okay, anyone else? I guess we'll put it to a vote.
Trustee Ayello.
No.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Silella.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
President Volkes.
Yes. Okay. All right, number 12 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with McGinty Brothers Incorporated for the 2018 South Monterey Stormwater Quality Project in the amount of $70,914.50. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Ron. Stormwater quality improvements on South Monterey Avenue are proposed in support of the capital improvement plan. The project was publicly bid with two contractors submitting bids. The lowest responsible bidder was McGinty Brothers, Inc. of Long Grove, Illinois, in the amount of $70,914.50. The village received a grant from the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency for the construction of 12 bioretention swales on South Monterey Avenue through the Illinois Green Infrastructure Grant. The Illinois EPA will reimburse the village for 75% of construction costs. The remaining 25% will be covered by a storm water quality grant from DuPage County. Funding for this project has been budgeted in the Stormwater Fund account number 68-502-10-299. Thank you, Ron.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Second. Trustee Yellow?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Silella.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Ayello.
Yes.
President Volkes.
Yes. Item 13 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a contract with Creative Asphalt Materials, LLC of South Roxanne, Illinois, for the 2018 Asphalt Surface Rejuvenating Treatment Program in the amount of $76,921.05. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Ron. The village has a continuing program for extending the life of previously resurfaced and reconstructed asphalt pavements. A rejuvenating agent known as Reclamite will be applied to the surface of selected streets, thereby extending the life of the pavement. The project was publicly bid with one contractor submitting a bid. Corrective Asphalt Materials, LLC of South Roxana, Illinois, submitted a bid in the amount of $76,921.05. Funds have been budgeted for this work in the Street Improvement Fund account number 650202-299. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kazone?
President, I'll make that motion.
Trustee Sella?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Quick one.
Trustee Allen?
I think Solella might know the answer to this. What's it take to put this Reclamite on the pavement, other than a truck?
Other than being sprayed on by the truck?
Yeah.
That's it.
They put sand over the top.
Well, that's protective for
Yeah.
Can we do this in-house?
traction. Excuse me?
Is it possible to do it in-house?
I don't believe so. It's probably some regulated material that's, but Vetus is glad to tell us. Director, yeah. We're in the Vetus section of the program here.
You seem lonely.
As I recall, there's a special spray applicator that is either attached to the rear of the truck or is towed behind the truck, so we don't have such an applicator.
Okay. Any idea what that thing costs? Yeah.
But they do this all the time, so I would imagine they're much more,
Cheap.
they're better at it than we would be.
Okay.
It's not a bunch of guys with a pump sprayer.
Doesn't strike me as that complex either.
We can get everybody with squeegees.
It's a little bit different. Okay, any other questions or trustee Tucker?
How long does this application last? When you're talking spray and how long does it withstand?
The first snow.
Well, typically what we do is we put the first application out within a year of a new reconstruction or resurfacing, and then we wait 6 years and do it again, and then we keep doing it until it's no longer feasible. Then the last application is with the sand, that's the CRF. And once you do that, then resurfacing would be next. So we try and get at least 2 reclamites, 1 CRF out of the pavement, ideally, but it doesn't always work that way. But we try and get at least 12 years.
12 years total for
That's 2 applications.
for 2 applications.
Why do we always do this in the fall? Is there a reason why it's done in the fall, when the leaves are on the road? Just because?
Just because we're working on other
Weren't ready for
projects.
that one,
Each
huh?
one seems to slip to the back.
Okay. It's always in the fall. So then residents go, how come you just bring the stuff on top of all the leaves? You know?
Leaves.
Hopefully the leaves will stay on a little bit longer.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, trustee Case,
Yes.
trustee
Stay up here,
Wagner,
Regis.
Yes.
trustee Ayello,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Silella.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
President Foltis.
Yes. Item 14 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors of Schaumburg, Illinois, for the 2018 pavement patching program in the amount of $198,800. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff proposes the completion of pavement patching on various village streets as part of the 2018 pavement patching program. The project was publicly bid with 8 contractors submitting bids. It is recommended that a contract be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder, A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois, in the amount of $198,800. Funds have been budgeted for this work in the Street Improvement Fund account number 60-50202-299. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Yellow?
Second.
Okay. Questions or comments? Trustee Case?
Looks like our numbers have come down from previous years, right?
Getting all the bad spots patched and running out of
We
spots?
have new roads.
That's true, new roads. Anyone else? Roll call vote. Oh, wait a minute, trustee Tucker.
I noticed the patching is going from a large part on Ardmore, from the tracks almost all the way to the fire station. Is it also possible to get a list, like you did for the rejuvenation, of what streets, between what streets? Because this map that we have is real hard to read. So could I get a list of the difference? And is there a reason we're doing a large part of Ardmore is patching? I know it would be very costly to redo it, but is there a reason we're doing that huge of a section on Ardmore?
Eventually, Ardmore is actually eligible for federal funding when it's time to redo it completely. So we're
Okay.
just trying to stretch it out until some point in the future where it's ready for resurfacing, then apply for federal funds. Right now, they don't do calls for federal funds. It's going to be every 2 years instead of every year, and we're not going to have a call this next January. So it's going to be at least 4 years out before we can even apply.
Before we can apply for the federal and for Ardmore? Are there that many spots on Ardmore that need the patching? I'm sure you,
I believe it's been 10 years since we resurfaced it, so.
so there's
and
been
it does
10
see a lot of
years
traffic.
difference? Okay.
There were a lot of spots painted on there, I noticed, in the last few weeks. So But yeah, we just have a map in our packet, but I'm sure the actual
provide
streets are in the contract, so will be spelled out in the contract, right?
Right, we'll create a list.
Are we gonna post this list on the internet somewhere for residents? Because it's gonna be a nightmare going up and down Ardmore.
Yes, we will
When it's
post
going
the
on.
list and warn the residents.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Sillella,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Ayello,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Volkes.
Yes. Item 15 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, accepting a contract with Superior Road Striping Incorporated for pavement marking in the amount of $51,489. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. A 2018 pavement marking program consists of striping St. Charles Road and the village-controlled portions of intersections with North Avenue, including Ardmore and Addison, as well as the College Streets intersections between them. Pricing for the striping of asphalt streets was obtained through the bidding process of the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative. Funding of the program will be allocated from the crack filling program and the Street Improvement Fund maintenance. It is recommended that contract be awarded to Superior Road Striping, Inc. of Melrose Park, Illinois, in the amount of $51,489. Funds will be taken for this work from the Street Improvement Fund account number 60-50202-299. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Cielo?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second on it? Trustee Case?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Trustee Ayello?
Just a quick one for Vitas. When, is there a line between when we go to SPC for project funding or project bidding and when we go to public bidding? So some of these are publicly bid, some of them are bid through the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative. Is there a level at which there's a difference?
No, we just typically look for contracts that have already been bid by other government bodies, and if we can find one and it looks favorable to us, we'll take advantage of it.
Road striping?
Road striping, yes, that was available this year.
Okay.
Through
Interesting.
joint bidding.
Okay, cool.
That's what we said.
Thanks for answering.
Trustee Tucker?
In this amount, does this also have the North Avenue amount in it? I was kind of confused when I was reading this total, because it just sounded like it was the striping for St. Charles
St. Charles
Road
Road and
from...
North Avenue, yes, both.
So it is the North Avenue one?
Yes,
And
everything's
what?
shown on, it's just the approaches, it's not mainline North.
Oh,
Avenue.
I got that, but it, because you said these materials were not included in the SPC bid, how, originally, it sort of sounded like we didn't originally ask for that.
Well, I
in the
think what they
bidding
meant
process.
was the unit prices were based on St. Charles Road, so they gave us new pricing for the other sections.
The other
That's
sections
what
on
they-
North Avenue. And when is IDID gonna do their part of the striping of North Avenue? Are we matching it with it, or are we gonna do ours before they do theirs?
No, we're going to do the approaches because we've already been put on notice by IDOT that they're fading and they want it done.
Okay, is IDID gonna do North Avenue then?
That is up to IDOT, we don't know.
Okay, so we don't know when they're gonna do
No.
it. We're just gonna do our
We're just going to do
part
our
for
approaches,
approaches, and hopefully they'll do their North Avenue in the same time, some type of a process time period. Is that what you're hoping? Okay. So they're giving us orders, but not doing.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Ayello.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Sillella.
Yes.
President Volkes.
Yes. Item 16 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an expenditure of $60,000 to Living Waters for final engineering permitting service. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Sugar Creek Golf Course corrugated steel shoreline around the pond is failing, causing the creek to become silted and in need of repair. Engineering and design work must be completed in order to prepare cost estimates and construction documents to apply for grants to aid in funding the potential restoration of a portion of Sugar Creek at the golf course. Creek conditions must be addressed before they deteriorate further, and staff would like to apply for grant funding for 85% of the project cost. The total cost of the engineering and permitting services is $120,000. a cost which is split equally between the village and Elmhurst Park District. The Elmhurst Park District Board recently approved payment for their portion of the project. Staff proposes the completion of the Sugar Creek Restoration Project final engineering and permitting services by Living Waters Consultants, Inc. of Western Springs, Illinois, in the amount of $60,000. Funds for this project will be provided by Stormwater Account Number 6850210292 in stub year 2018 and calendar year 2019. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Do we have a second? Trustee Case?
Make the second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I just want a general term that golf course will be open like anything else on the engineering. We're not closing down anything to do these.
No, because there won't be any work actually going on. This is engineering.
So this is engineering, but will be continued like everything else.
Yes.
It's not, okay.
Trustee Wagner?
Yeah, just a comment. I just appreciated some of the elements that are suggested in the engineering, riffles in the path of the creek, and then some natural plantings. I think that's great. I'm just wondering, did they get any input from the DuPage River Salt Creek Work Group on this? Since it is an important tributary for Salt Creek.
I don't know
And was there any input?
on what we're going to do. I think there was input that we had to fix it, if I remember right. But as far as what we're going to do, because we really don't know, wow, but Trustee Manager Kinger, I see he's grabbing the mic here, he can't wait. So, go
Thank you,
ahead.
Your Honor. I don't believe so to be thinking along the lines of that, Trustee Wagner. I believe it has not. They did not seek input. However, it's going to be reviewed by the DuPage County Stormwater folks as part of a grant submittal. So I believe input at that time will be necessary for the grant funding.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Anyone else? Trustee Kazon?
Reading through here, and it kind of talked about how the payment is going to be done through the village and city of Elmhurst. Do we get reimbursed then from the golf course out of their funds, or is this strictly that the village pays for it?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's a very good question. As we look at this right now, this would be an expense that would be added to the balance sheet of the golf course on both sides of the entities which own the golf course, which is the village and the Elmhurst Park District. When funds are available, that balance sheet will be paid off through profits of the golf course. Not immediately, of course, but as profits become available.
Thank you.
Remember, they keep track of who spends what.
Right.
And then somewhere toward the end of the line, all that has to be worked out.
Okay.
So. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Silella?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Volkes?
Yes. Item number 17 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the submittal of an application for funding for the 2019 North Yale Water Main Improvement Project under the Community Development Block Grant Program, and authorizing the village manager to sign an agreement if funding is awarded. Do I have a motion for the resolution? Oh, well, we're going to manager's comments here first.
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff wishes to
Not a
submit
good
an
night.
application for grant funding for the construction of the 2019 North Yale Water Main Improvement Project under the Community Development Block Grant Program. The project would consist of the replacement of the existing water main on North Yale Avenue from Plymouth to Ridge. The estimated total cost of construction for this project is $534,000. Under the terms of the grant application, staff is applying for grant funding in the maximum amount of $400,000, or approximately 75% of the estimated cost of construction. Funding for the village's estimated share of the construction costs, or $134,000, would be provided by either the water supply fund or the utility sales tax. Thank you, Your Honor.
Now we'll go on. Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Case?
Make that motion.
I'll
Trustee
second.
Ciela? Okay.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
trustee Ayello,
Yes.
trustee Kazone,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Silella.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
President Volpus.
Yes. Item 18 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a 3-year contract with H&H Electric Company for traffic signal maintenance in the amount of $30,000. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The traffic signal system along St. Charles Road at the intersections of Westmore Avenue, Addison Avenue, Ardmore Avenue, and Villa Avenue require routine monitoring and maintenance to ensure proper orientation. This work has historically been performed by an outside contractor due to the technical nature of such activities. Bids were solicited for a new 3-year signal maintenance contract. 3 bid proposals were received, and the lowest responsible bid was submitted by H&H Electric Company of Franklin Park, Illinois, in the total amount of $30,000. Funding for this contract will continue to be budgeted in the street fund account number 10-525-25299. Thank you, Your Honor.
We have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
do we have a second? Trustee Cielo? No, that's trustee Kazone.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Trustee Cielo.
What makes it so technical? It's a 4-way intersection. I mean, other than the fact that when you're going northbound on Westmore at St. Charles, you've got to wait about a half an hour. What else about that intersection is so technical?
Yeah, but maybe Vitas can answer that.
Okay.
What makes it so technical? What are they referring to technical?
Well, first of all the signals are interconnected and coordinated, and there's a computer program that controls the operation that needs to be monitored and modified. The other thing is, part of the maintenance includes going into the electrical panel and checking the circuits and the electrical work, and I would prefer not to have my staff dealing with the electrical side of things.
So is this to say that all our intersections are technical?
Well, it's just the system itself.
That's what I mean.
It's an
Like
interconnected system. on
Madison and
St. Charles
Westmore.
Road. Our
excuse
system's
me, not
actually
Madison, Westmore.
interconnected with Route 83, IDOT signals, and Elmer signals. It's all one signal system, and they talk to each other. So that, I guess that's part of where some of the technicality comes in.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's basically they replace bulbs, they troubleshoot electrical problems, outages, they replace signals if there's a knockdown, things like that.
I don't think we could do it ourselves for $10,000 a year. So that's just my personal opinion.
No, I personally just kind of wanted the word technical described. I mean, it was just
Maybe
something.
important choice of words.
That's all. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any questions? Roll call vote.
Trustee Silella,
Yes.
trustee Tucker,
Yes.
trustee Ayello.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
President Volpus.
Yes. Number 19 is public comments on non-agenda items. Clerk Konecki, do we have anybody signed up?
Yes, I have Holly Sloan had a comment for non-agenda.
Okay.
Hi,
3 minutes.
Okay, Holly Sloan, 1226 South Villa Park. I am representing the Save Lufkin Park Advocates Group. I'm here to provide some information to the board and the residents about a survey that our group conducted in July 2018. The purpose of the survey was to get information about Villa Park pool passes. Our main purpose was to study the group of people who had 2017 Villa Park pool passes, but not 2018 Villa Park pool passes. But we also generally wanted to see what people were doing to swim in the summer of 2018. We found we had 263 respondents to our survey, representing 1,071 family members, with 96% of those respondents being Villa Park residents. 68% of respondents had a 2017 Villa Park pool pass. Of those 68%, 49% did not purchase a pool pass anywhere in 2018. 38% purchased a pass to somewhere other than Villa Park, and 13% purchased the Villa Park pool pass. 58% of the total respondents did not have a 2018 pool pass to anywhere, so that's a significant majority. Whether Lufkin Pool opens in 2019 or not will impact the majority of respondents' decisions on whether they purchase a Villa Park pool pass in 2019.
Survey respondents represent a significant majority, so estimated around 70% or more, of the total Villa Park pool pass decrease in 2018 as compared to 2017. This is the number that was reported at the August Parks and Recs Commission meeting. Respondents that had 2017 Villa Park pool passes but not 2018 Villa Park pool passes had a decline in participation in Villa Park summer activities in 2018, such as for swimming lessons and pool rentals. The conclusion of the survey is that Lufkin's closing did impact where people chose to swim in 2018, and if Lufkin does not reopen, the decline in revenue for pool passes, as well as swim lessons and some other summer activities, will likely continue. We will be happy to provide further data to the board, the Parks and Rec staff, or the group doing the feasibility study if they would like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, Hosanna?
No, I had no one else sign up.
Anyone else have any comments on a non-agenda item? Okay. And we'll move down to the clerk's report.
I have no report tonight, thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with the trustees' report to my right. Trustee Ciala.
No report this evening.
Trustee Kazone.
Just a couple things. Just want people know the Community Pride Commission meeting for tomorrow has been canceled. It will be held in October on the fourth Tuesday of the month. And congratulations to Willowbrook's football team. They won again 20-10 over Hinsdale South on Friday. And it was their homecoming, a nice win, and they're 5-0, and I think they're ranked in the top 20 in the state so far. So congratulations to Nick Hildreth and the football team.
Good.
That's all I got.
Trustee Case.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Yellow.
I got something for you, Al.
Oh.
All right. The Lombard Villa Park Food Pantry is a food pantry that's run by the Board of Directors with representation from First United Methodist Church and First Church of Lombard and Calvary Episcopal Church. It is operated in Lombard at 155 South Main Street in Lombard. They're looking for people to serve, so people who are having some rough times can go there to get some healthy food substitutes, or not substitutes, healthy food opportunities. So veggies and other things you need for your daily life, canned goods. And also they have a clothes closet, so not just a food pantry, but there's also a clothes closet there. And again, that's 155 South Main Street in Lombard. That's the location that they're operating out of. And when you go for food, you can also pick up clothing if you need it. There are some rules about who's allowed to actually pick up, because there has to be some restrictions on some information you have to provide in order to demonstrate the need. Also, they're looking, of course, for volunteers to help with organizing the distribution of the food, organizing the food, organizing their clothing, and distribution of the clothing. So if anybody's interested, you can call 630-627-2508, and then extension 5 or extension 6. And again, that's 630-627-2508, extension 5 or extension 6. Thank you. That's all I have.
Trustee Tucker.
Nothing tonight.
Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Foltis. Just a couple things. Just want to let the public know that the Environmental Concerns Commission will be meeting this coming Thursday here at Village Hall at 7 p.m. and they're in need of 3 commissioners. So anyone is interested or knows of someone who might have an interest in the commission, I encourage them to attend. Last week I did have an opportunity to sit down and visit with our library director, Sandy Hill, just to get some, I was curious about the progress of the construction, and just took a little walk around the construction site, and she indicated that they're about a month behind, but they're still well within budget on the project. Some things that she mentioned, they're recycling over 50% of their shelves to be reused, and they're also pursuing grants through ComEd because of energy efficiency with the new systems that they'll be putting in place. So the library continues to operate, with some interruptions. Director Hill said that they're anticipating that the north entrance should be done by February of 2019. They're being very creative and moving the collection around so that there's as little interruption as possible to library patrons. Just wanted to mention, I and Trustee Casson both participated in Love Your Neighbor Day on Saturday, and just wanted to pass along the thanks from that group for the contribution that the village made towards that effort. They had over 70 volunteers. There were 22 different projects going on in Villa Park and Lombard, and they helped folks, primarily seniors, who have financial issues or have to care for a infirmed loved one and are not able to take care of some of the projects, and many of these were addressing violations. So they were very grateful for the support on the behalf, from the village. And also wanted to mention that Roy Strong provided them a dumpster at no charge, which was very helpful. I also want to thank the village for allowing me to attend. I attended the DuPage Mayors and Managers meeting last week, Wednesday, and they gave out innovation awards, which was very interesting. Lombard received an award for a public works, kind of like a police training program. They educate their residents about public works, different issues involving public works, and they're helping to do that on a repeating basis to educate people. So it was very interesting. And I also attended one day with President Bulfus at IML. That was also very interesting. And I just want to voice my appreciation for the resolution about rail safety. I think it's really important, and as you mentioned, we've had some unfortunate occurrences, and I think it's good to remind people about that. And that's all I had.
Thank you. President's report. I got a couple items. If you remember last meeting, I mentioned that you could sign up for this Code Red alert that's on the front page on our website, where you would receive emergency notices or some informational notices automatically on your cell phone. If anybody already signed up for it like I did, you probably got a notification tonight. This afternoon we received a notification that starting now until dawn they're going to be doing mosquito spraying again in Villa Park because West Nile has showed up in our area, so they'll be spraying for mosquitoes this evening. So, but if you haven't signed up for the Code Red, they're local notifications. If there's a gas leak on your block, you will receive a notification, but somebody on the other side of town probably wouldn't receive it. So it's good information to have if there's any emergency. So that's a national thing, but they are able to localize it to your specific community and specific area. The other thing I have here, I think last week I also mentioned that there was this emergency alert test going out on cell phones on last Thursday. Well, you didn't get it because last Thursday they postponed it because of the emergency on the East Coast with the flooding. So they postponed it. So that system, well, everybody who has a cell phone will receive an emergency message, an alert, and it'll say test on it. That'll happen on October 3rd at 1:18, and you'll get another one at 1:20 in the afternoon on October 3rd. It'll clearly say presidential or test of the system. So you don't get all freaked out if you see an emergency alert on your cell phone. You can't opt out of it. You're going to get the alert if you have a relatively current cell phone. If you got an old flip phone, you probably won't get it. So And it doesn't matter if you have Sprint or Verizon or anybody, you will receive it. So I just want to make you aware of that. Yeah, I wasn't nuts when I said last time that you were going to get it and you didn't, but that's why you didn't get it this time. I also want to remind everybody that on this coming Saturday is the Brew Fest from 1 to 5:30. If you haven't signed up and got your tickets, there's still time. Usually this last week is when most of them come in. The last I heard, there was probably close to 300, close to 300 now. So it'll be a busy day at Cortese Park. So, but still, it's a lot of fun. So you still have time to sign up. You do that also on the internet. So, and another thing I wanted to bring up, that there was this piece in the paper, Sunday Tribune, about the condition on the use of Union Pacific West Line, which goes through Villa Park. A month ago, myself and about 10 other mayors in the western suburbs who have property, villages are along the UP line, had an opportunity to meet with Lance Fritz, who is the CEO, chairman, and president of Union Pacific Railroad. We met out in West Chicago, and it was a nice meeting. He was there with the rest of the senior staff, community development department that they have, and his vice president. So all the big shots from Union Pacific were there. We had an opportunity to bring up with him some concerns that we had about the train traffic through our communities, and Villa Park specifically for us, with the length of the trains and the stopping of the trains. So we talked to him about that, and he told us at that time that they were working on that issue. And I see that on last week Thursday, and according to the Tribune, they came up with a new system, hopefully to alleviate some of the delays that we have in Villa Park. So we'll wait and see if it works. I guess we're going to kick that in October, and basically all these tracks are tied together. It covers the whole Midwest. It all has to coordinate. So it was kind of good to see that that's actually happening. And we also had an opportunity to talk with him about underpasses. And unfortunately, they do recognize that the need for underpasses for not just the residents, but also for the railroad. But they only have so much money, and there are other places in the Chicago area that, as far as they was concerned, had a higher need than most of the places down the West Line, which we were part of. So unfortunately, we didn't score on that one, but luckily we did get some resupply and some event and some movement on doing something about the train traffic, especially for the commuters, where they always run into the delays with the freight train delays. Hopefully, according to Fritz, that this will help solve that problem. So, and also, I think I had one more thing. Nope, the only thing I just wanted to mention is our next meeting is October 8th, right here in the board meeting room at 7 o'clock. And with that, we'll move on down to the manager's report.
Your Honor, I'm passing this evening.
Okay. And then the next item is executive session, which is 5 ILCS 120/2C1, personnel matters, C2, collective bargaining matters, C5, purchase or lease of property, C6, sale and lease of property, C11, pending litigation, and C21, discussion of closed session minutes. Do we have a motion for executive session? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Yellow?
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Silella?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
President Wolfus?
Yes. With that, we'll go into executive session. We will not be coming back out. So we'll see Villa Park, and we'll see you on the 8th of October.